All right, this skill is PASG-Hypovolemia, in which we're going to use the PASG, or massute as it's sometimes called, in an effort to correct a patient's hypoperfusion. All the rescuers are going to have standard precautions in place, and obviously we need to know what the patient's systolic blood pressure is. So my assistant is going to be checking that. I've already performed an assessment on this patient, and I probably suspect that he has hypoperfusion by virtue of him having signs and symptoms of shock. So in anticipation of putting on the suit, I'm going to remove any sharp objects, belt buckles from the patient. We're going to actually wrap the suit around the patient and pump it up in an effort to create a systolic blood pressure somewhere around 80 points. You don't want to get it too high, because all you'll do is you'll prompt or increase the rate of blood loss. What's this patient's pressure, please?
46 systolic.
46. All right, we're going to use the inline drag to get the suit onto the patient. And that's where I place my arms through the suit, all the way through the abdominal compartment. I'm going to reach down and grab the patient's feet, and my assistant is simply going to get the suit up over the patient's ankles. All right, we're going to come up here. We're going to lift the patient's torso in 3 and slide the device up on the patient. 1, 2, 3. All right, we know it's properly placed when the suit is at the lowest anterior rib and is seated in the groin. So we're now going to go back and snug up the Velcro. All right, we get the abdominal compartment, and I'll start splitting up the pump. All right, we're going to check and make sure all the valves are open, which they are. Okay, and while I'm pumping and inflating the suit, the first responder is going to be continually checking the patient's systolic pressure. And typically it takes many, many pumps before you get any type of change in the patient's blood pressure, because you've got to get some pressure in the suit first. Do we have any change in the systolic yet?
54.
As you increase the pressure in the suit, it takes less pumps to impact the pressure. And remember, you're targeting a systolic pressure of roughly 80 millimeters mercury. What about now?
68.
68. I can see the suit is now getting tight. So we're going to check the pressure a little more frequently. What is it now?
76.
76. So I'm going to go a little bit more cautiously. $82. All right, we're going to stop. We're not going to take the pump off. We're going to close the stopcocks or valves. And my assistant is going to tape them shut so that they don't open up and dump all the pressure out. Now, there's other information you need to know about this suit. We've just seen how to apply it. We need to also know how to take it off. When you're removing the suit, it's going to take roughly 45 minutes as you reduce each compartment by 15 minutes. We always start with the abdominal compartment first, by uncapping or untaping that tube. We're going to put our thumb over the end of it, open up the stopcock, and while my assistant is continually checking the patient's blood pressure, I'm going to let this down over approximately 15 minutes. Now, it's a good idea before you start taking the suit off to have 2 large bore IVs going on this patient, to have, first of all, a blood pressure that's not continuing to decline, a surgeon present, and you always want to have your pump available in case you need to reinflate your suit. And obviously someone continually checking the blood pressure. All right, 15 minutes have now elapsed, so all the pressure is out of that compartment. We're next going to move to either one of the legs. Take the tape off there, open up, and do the same process all over again. All right. In this instance, we're going to suppose that the patient's systolic pressure is going to drop more than 4 to 6 points. If that's the case, we're going to shut the valve immediately as a first step. We're then going to place the patient into Trendelenburg position. We're going to open up the large bore IVs to a flood rate, and as a last resort, we're going to reinflate the suit. Another thing you need to know about this suit is that it's sensitive to changes in altitude and temperature. As you increase either temperature or altitude, you're going to increase the pressure in the suit as exerted against the patient, and as you decrease altitude or temperature, you're going to decrease the pressure in the suit. The indications for this device are hypoperfusion secondary to controlled bleeding, spinal shock, a systolic pressure less than 50, anaphylactic shock, isolated lower extremity fractures, and pelvic instability. Contraindications include pulmonary edema and uncontrolled bleeding. Cautious application is when your patient has chest trauma, head trauma, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, and you modify the application by not inflating the abdominal compartment in the event of pregnancy or abdominal evisceration. And if you have an impaled object in the lower extremity, then you would only inflate the opposing leg.